first of all, hi, and thank you so much for joining me today. How are you guys doing today?
We're great. Yeah, we're feeling pretty good. We got the album out, and we spent the weekend at our studio playing the songs live. So we're great.
The album was released on Friday. How have the reactions been so far? Have you kept track on that kind of stuff?
We've been very busy, so not that much, but all the feedback we have gotten has been very it's been great and very how would you say that? Encouraging. Yeah.
So let's maybe start off talking a little bit about your history. How did you guys meet, and how did you decide to form a band?
Should I go first? Okay, so we already knew each other years ago in Oulu, up north, and we knew each other, and we knew that we like similar kinds of music, like indie rock, punk rock, and pop punk, and that sort of stuff, which is pretty it's a bit different than what you can expect from like Finnish music people. It's usually a lot of heavy metal and that stuff, and of course that's cool. We also like that stuff, but it feels like this indie rock thing has a special place in our hearts, and it wasn't until I was studying in America in the fall of 2016, and during that time I wrote a lot of songs overseas, and I came back to Finland in the early 2017, and for some reason that felt like the right time to start playing my own music. I mean I had been looking for bands for a long time, but I never quite settled for the right people, not until we started playing together. And for the three of us too, we began playing with some covers. We actually played a bunch of old MESSIER tracks, like from the Blue album and Pinkerton. And we actually played a show in Oulu. I think it was in June of 2017, and we had a blast together. And but it just seemed that there's no point carrying on playing old tracks by MESSIER. So it after a couple of weeks just scratching our heads, we thought we would try some of my own songs, which I had a catalog of years of writing. So there's a lot of material to be recorded.
Do you feel like having spent time in America, has that kind of influenced the sound a little bit as well of the songs?
Well, I've always been into mostly British and American rock music, so I think that the aesthetic has always kind of been there, but I think you can kind of sense the atmosphere of that time when I was in the US, because like I said, it was in the fall of 2016, and it was in the middle of the presidential election campaign. So there definitely was some tension in the air, and I think it translated into the lyrics of many of the songs on the album.
So what I also noticed in your music is that you guys have kind of an equal role in the sound as well. Like all the instruments are well balanced out. And for instance, if you take the bass in a lot of bands, it's just kind of in the background, but I feel in your music, it has a prominent role kind of. Was it important for you guys that you kind of could shine equally in your music?
I think it's more about because there's only 3 of us, so we have to like make it count and get the sound as big as we can. So I think it's more about that than the like ego stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's all about the music after all. There is very little egos, you know, between the 3 of us, and I think those things, like for example the bass, I mean, I think we have a lot of influence to each other. I mean, we have ideas for each other for many songs, and you know, of course Antti has a great taste, but there's a lot of, you know, like communication between the 3 of us.
So what can you tell me about the writing process? You mentioned that you wrote most of the songs, but did the others also have input?
Yeah, I mean, all the tracks, the compositions and the lyrics are mine, and they usually are pretty, you know, ready when I bring those to the rehearsal. But maybe you can tell me more about the arrangement.
Yeah, Lauri brings the songs to the rehearsals, and then we hash it out, try out different things on the drums and the bass, and yeah, we arrange the songs together. Sometimes certain songs are brought to the rehearsals more ready than the others. Sometimes Lauri has ideas for the drums and bass too, and yeah, that's been fine. That's been the dynamic we've been using.
Yeah, and for the first album, those 10 songs are pretty much the first 10 songs we played together, and we got those things arranged. It didn't take us very long to, you know, get the blueprint of the album. I think we began playing in August of 2017, and by Christmas I think we already had the backbone, and from there on it was only, you know, minor adjustments.
Do you feel like for the future maybe you will collaborate even more as a band when it comes to songwriting?
If we already have, you know, moved to that direction, like I just mentioned, this first album and the material, it didn't take us very long to, you know, finish it. But, you know, ever since, you know, a couple of years has passed, so a lot of things has happened to us, of course, and there's a lot more music to be released. So yeah, I to answer your question, I think we have, you know, gotten even more out of each other.
Yeah.
You also signed a record deal with Side One Dummy, which is a pretty big label. Can you talk a little bit about how you ended up signing with them and the collaboration so far?
I can start.
Yep.
We had just finished our first record it was like
August 2019.
Yeah, August 2019, and we were searching for a label from Finland, and we were contacting different labels, and the answer was pretty much that we should maybe ask elsewhere. Finnish labels didn't really pick up on it, and we were familiar with Side One Dummy Records through some of our favorite records, like from our favorite artists like Jeff Rosenstock and Hub, and it was in December 2019 when we decided to take a shot and contact Side One Dummy Records by email, and
I mean, it was quite a long shot. We didn't even expect a reply. So I think it was like a Thursday night on a a working week. So we just drafted something and we sent the email and went to sleep around midnight. And then next morning we got the alarm ringing out around 7, 8 a.m. because we need to go to work. And then we checked our email and we had gotten a reply from Dummy, like 2 hours. And it takes 35 minutes to listen through the album, so they were pretty quick to pick up on it.
Yeah, how does it feel to be on the label with that has signed some of your favorite bands and albums?
How would you say that? It's it really feels special, and first I think it kind of feels unreal because that's something we sort of were aiming at when we began playing, and I think like
I don't think any of us expected to release our first album through like the label that we knew before we started playing together.
Yeah, and what I was trying to say, it feels like the music on the album and the whole album, like it kind of feels at home on that label. So of course it's really special.
So if I understood correctly, the album has been ready for quite some time, but was it really important for you guys to have this, released through a label, and is that what caused maybe a bit of a delay?
Yeah, that's correct. I think since we started playing in 2017, and it was around the same time that many of the big Finnish English speaking and singing guitar bands like Satellite Stories and Disco Ensemble and such were kind of getting out of business, and the whole scene kind of went underground. So it wasn't exactly like a triumph for us for the first 2 years. So I think it would have been quite a waste to just put the album out ourselves, and so we're hoping we'll get some recognition and all that with cooperating with Sidewind Dummy.
So I noticed in one of your Facebook posts that you were also talking a bit, I guess, about the lyrics a little bit, and you said it was your kind of goal that your full-length album should have like a lot of different emotions in there. So Soner, can you talk a little bit about the lyrical themes on this album? Do you think in that sense maybe it's a concept album for you?
I think the title of the album really binds it together pretty nicely. I mean, there are like on Malaise, it means like it's about certain, like about sadness, about in somber tones. It's kind of like exploring grief and all that. But also I think since we have different themes on the album and different moods and different tempos, it like explores that grief from different like perspectives. And like, for example, the title track on Malaise, it's pretty upbeat, and the lyrics on that song are quite hyperbolic, and I intended it kind of as a joke. There's a lot of whining on those lyrics, but what I'm trying to say there is, after all, it's not that bad. There's, if you like go a little over the top, you may kind of, find something positive underneath it all. So what I'm trying to say is that it's not a concept album per se, but there's a theme on the album, and I think we kind of approach it from different angles.
Yeah, I want to talk about two songs specifically. The first one is Simon Says, and I already understood that it was inspired by the presidential election, and it captures the political and social tension from that time. But I was wondering if there's any stories that you three have connected to this song and recording it, or
like you mentioned, it's one of those songs that was inspired by the atmosphere back in the US. It was actually a phrase that stuck to me from I think it was a lecture on American Civil War, and actually, at that time the campaign was full blast, and it didn't even matter which lecture we were at. At some point, the conversation would turn to the election, and I think it was the professor who made that remark that Simon Says. It was a common phrase, but at that time it's really stuck me for some reason, and I took it as like it was used as a response to some kind of a question, like why is like this. I think it was specifically because of people at that time were already like sensing that there was this polarization that didn't even make sense, and it would get worse and it would get worse. And I think one of the students was asking, why is this happening? And the response was kind of like Simon Says, because it just is what it is. And it just felt like a really strong comment. And then I got out of the lecture, and I just didn't get that phrase out of my mind, and that turned into the lyrics pretty quick. And so whenever I hear that song, that's what I think when I play that song. That's kind of a long answer, but you go.
I just I think about the process of where it got from the first place and how it ended up on the record. It was a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
we had like a separate session before we started working on the full-length album, and it didn't turn out that great, and we were not very pleased to be playing that song over and over again, and we kind of grew tired of the song. I think I can say that on behalf of all of us.
Yeah.
But I think it's starting to come back, and I'm really starting to enjoy it again.
Yeah.
It's a good song.
Yeah, it's a good song, but it's also quite difficult. It's really demanding, like rhythmically. So I think we've gotten pretty sick of it, because we've screwed it up a lot.
Yeah.
about the other single you brought out, Pollyanna, you mentioned that the song is very dear to you. I was wondering if there's a specific reason for that.
Yeah, because it's a great song. It sounds great. I don't and it's the first time we tried different things. Until that point, we had been playing at full volume all the time.
Yeah.
So it was the first time we tried something different, and about the first time we really nailed those vocal harmonies that are so dear to me. And I don't know. It's funny that we like think of it as the first time we tried something different, because it had only been like a month or two, and then we turned to you know, more peaceful stuff, but still, it has a special meaning and special memories to us.
What is of each of you your favorite song on the album and why?
This is kind of a funny thing because every time we get asked this, we kind of, me and Christian, we change the song we answer.
I actually don't. I think
That's my problem.
Maybe I'm the only.
I have been saying Hope before the record release, but I think I'll have to go with Begging the Question, the last track on the album, for now.
Why?
I'm not sure even. It's an aggressive song, and I've been into that kind of stuff, so it really resonates with me.
And for me, my favorite song from the record must be Right Between the Lines, the second track, because I have a dear memory of it, of us arranging it, and it came to us pretty easily, the song.
Yeah, it was one night.
Yeah, and everything just clicked together, like the beautiful harmonies and the how should I say it? The fun energy. To me it's a pretty happy song. So yeah, those are the reasons.
Yeah. Whenever I'm asked this question, I usually say Pollyanna, since it's a song that's like really I mean there's nothing too much and nothing too little. It's just, you know, a complete song. So that's why I like it, and I hope it will, you know, I hope we'll never get tired of that song. And but sometimes I feel that the next track, 225 or Cox Beast, I think that's a great song, and it's really different for us. I really like the melodies, and I love the harmonies, and I like the softness. So it's either Pollyanna or that song, but maybe Pollyanna.
What does a number stand for? Or is that a question maybe?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a. We have this pretty dorky working name, so for every track, and that's one of those dorky working names, and it's actually, it refers to the tempo of the original demo of that song. But the funny thing is, that song used to be way different. It was all rock and roll, very fast. But I just thought this doesn't work. I love this melody, so I just redid the song, but the name stuck.
Yeah. Are there any other working names that you still remember?
Yeah.
We don't remember the actual titles. We only refer to them as their
It's a struggle to refer to them as the real names in these interviews.
Yeah. I mean, begging the question, Antti mentioned is, pommi, so a bomb. And the track Christian mentioned, Right Between the Lines, juusto, so cheese.
That's cool. What I also really liked about the album is the cover art. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that, about who the artist is and why you chose this specific artwork for it.
Yeah, that's a specific story too. So tell it.
I used to work at an art gallery, kind of a geek spot in not like any high profile, but like a do-it-yourself kind of place. And then we had like a Christmas cleaning thing going on, and then we were cleaning like all around the rehearsal places and like
Atelier.
yeah, and stuff like that. And then we were going to take out the trash after the day was done, and then I found the painting in the some pile or something like that. And
Like a trash pile.
Yeah, and I asked everyone if they know who painted this and if I can take this home. And we didn't get like a name or anything for the painting, so I took it home, and then I've been thinking about it for like it's like the day when I saw it, I knew it would be a great album cover. So,
But you didn't know about the band or the album at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be cool to one day find out who made that painting. But yeah, anyway, normally I would ask about your future plans and live shows at this point, but since that's a bit unclear still, I'm going to ask you instead what song you're looking forward to play live most from this album.
For me, it's right between the lines, and I just think I don't know why, but it's always a joy to play that song. It's the song we play in our sound checks, and it's a warm-up song for us as well. And I don't know, it never fails to sound good, so that's why I like it.
I think I'll go with the title track because it's kind of a different track from all the others, and I've always liked playing live, so I'm still hoping to play live.
Yep.
I would say Saltwater Flush because I feel it starts things off on the record and in live situations very well. It's an upbeat song, and I like to play fast songs on the drums, so that's one of those.
Yep.
All right, looking forward to seeing those songs live maybe one day. But anyway, my questions are, I'm through my questions. Do you have any last thoughts you want to share with people who will be watching this?
We have a vinyl coming out.
Yeah,
and you can get it in Finland on Levykauppा X, and you can go to our webpage messierband.com and find it there.
Yeah,
if you feel so.
But it's not about the vinyl, it's just listen to the album